Hello, my name is Jessica, and I would like to welcome all attendees to our web seminar today. In a few minutes, I will be able to extend my colleague, Edgar Grasel, a warm welcome. He has prepared the topic, How Digitalization Makes Your Work Easier for You Today. A little more information for you before we start. You are muted during the web seminar, but are welcome to ask questions about your GoToWebinar in the questions box at any time. After the lecture, we will take the time and answer them. You can look forward to an interesting presentation. Welcome, Edgar. Now I will hand over the microphone.
Thank you, Jessica, and a warm welcome from Austria as well. I will show you today how digitalization makes your work easier. So when you saw the webinar 2 weeks ago, then you saw that I explained what are the benefits of digitalization, and the digital transformation, and what those terms mean. And digitalization is the business process of the technologically driven induced change within industries, or in easier words, digitalization is the solution which we can use because we have the technology for it. So the benefits of digitalization, there are many benefits of technology and the solutions which we can create out of them. For example, we can use our smartphones or tablets, we can use our mobile devices, and we can use the apps because we have the technology for it. And for this, or with them, we can work from nearly everywhere where we have internet. Or collaboration tools, or tools for online conferencing. This wouldn't be possible without internet and without the applications for it. And it can help that people can work together all over the world. It doesn't depend on where they are. Communication gets much faster, because 25 years ago you had to write a letter, and 5 days later or so you got an answer. Now you can write an email, or you can use instant messaging or something for communication. You can share your knowledge in some community tools, or you can consume knowledge. So you get to know things which you wouldn't have known before, because now you have the possibilities for it. And as I said, it doesn't depend on where you sit, because you can work from nearly everywhere in the world. You can work in the office, you can work from home, you can work when you sit in the train, well, no, you shouldn't work when you sit in the car, especially when you're driving, but you can work from everywhere in the world because you have the technology for it. And you don't have to do the annoying tasks which you had to do a few years before or ago, because now the machine does the tasks for you. You have automated the tasks which in the past people had to do. Now the machine does the work for you. And the five really important points, which is good for your daily work. You can make better decisions because you have tools for analyzing the data which exist in your company, and based on those analyses and visualizations, you can decide something. Or you can prevent errors, because when the machine does the work for you, the machine doesn't make an error. Well, the machine itself can have an error, but that doesn't happen. So when an application makes something, when you analyze a document or something with the proper tools, the application doesn't make errors. When a human has to analyze a document, it is possible that there are some errors in it. You can work better together. It's easier to work as a team because you have the tools for it. You have the collaboration tools. You have online conferencing tools, and it doesn't depend on where you sit. You can sit in, let's say, Germany, and the opposite sits in Poland or something. It doesn't matter because through the internet and with the right application for teamwork, you can work together all around the world, and it improves productivity because, well, decisions are made faster and better. There are no errors. You can work together when you sit in the train or something. So productivity gets improved with digitalization. And most of all, it saves time. Time which you can use for other more important things. So, as I said before, annoying tasks, you can let the machine do the work. So for this, you have time to make some decisions or other things which are more important. And this, as I said, saves time. So those are a few benefits of digitalization which we can use today. And I give you an example why you should start with digitalization. When you work in a company and you have, let's say, 30 incoming invoices per day, you have 7,200 invoices a year. That doesn't sound much over the year because, well, you may think a year has 360 days, that's 20 invoices. No, it's not. A year has 200 and something days where the people work, and, well, and you get every day 30 new invoices. And when you get the 30 invoices a day, these are on average 270 invoices which are in the approval process, because a invoice which you receive needs on average 9 days until it's ready. So you have in the approval process invoices from 9 days, and this is 270 invoices on average. And, well, 270 invoices, it's not so easy to get an overview here, because when they are all around the way in the company, you can't find them and you don't get an overview. And this is only when you get 30 incoming invoices a day. When the number of incoming invoices is higher, let's say 500 incoming invoices a day, you have 4,500 invoices in the approval process. And this is impossible to get an overview. But with digitalization, it is possible to get an overview over those 4,500 invoices. So, but I'll show you today another example, a much easier example where you can see the digitalization and the benefits of the digitalization in the company for your daily work. So we have a company and we have a CEO. His name is Bodo Kraft, and he can use Elo Analytics to see how many prospects has the company received the last few days or the last 3 weeks. And when he sees the visualization, then he recognizes that the number of prospects which the company receives every day has decreased in the last 3 weeks. So he thinks, well, what can we do to get in contact with our prospects? This question he asks his colleague in marketing and his colleague in sales. And Well, a few years ago, he would have the decision what to do to get in contact for himself. But nowadays he can use other tools, collaboration tools, where he can ask the people if they have some ideas. Maybe there's a brainiac in the company who has a really, really great idea, which he wouldn't think of. And so he can use those tools to ask the people and make a decision with the data he sees in his Elo Analytics dashboard and with the answers he gets from his employees. And this I'll show you now. So, as I said, Bodo Kraft, he uses the Elo web client, and he has Elo Analytics to visualize some data which are stored in Elo. And here's a dashboard for his incoming prospects. And here's the visualization for the prospects over the last 3 weeks. And 3 weeks ago, there were 7. Company received 7. Then 2 weeks ago, there were only 4. And 1 week ago, there were 2. So he can see that the number of prospects is decreasing. That's not good, he thinks. And on the right-hand side, you see the prospects per week, which they should receive, and the prospects per week, which they receive. The target would be around 10, and they receive, well, on average in the last 3 weeks, it's about, I don't know, something like 2, 6, 7, 13, 4. No, it's 2 less. So now he thinks, well, what can we do to get in contact with our prospects? And for this, he asks his employees a question. And how can he do this? He could either call them and say, Fritz and Verona, do you have some ideas how we get in contact with our prospects? Or he could use he could make a survey. He could ask every employee in the company, and then he will get an answer. So for this, he uses the built-in Elo feed. And with the built-in Elo feed, you can make a survey by clicking here on Create Poll. So he asks the question, how can we get in contact with our prospects? And he has 2 ideas. He says, oh, well, let's make some phone calls, or let's make a mailing, or one more, let's make webinars. And he has some additional options. He can allow a multiple choice so that the people in the company can answer or can take 2 or 3 answers, and he can allow them to add answers. And this poll he sends to the marketing. Oh, sorry. Oh, here it was. And to customer service. So the question will be sent to those groups, to the whole marketing group and to the whole customer service group. I think that's around 10 employees in the company, and they will get the poll and can answer it and can add more answers. And well, a duration has to be set for 1 day. Let's say, oh, well, let's say 1 week and we'll finish it next week. No, let's say 1 day. So the poll will appear 1 day, and the people have the possibility to answer them. After this, the poll is finished and you can't answer them anymore. So this was the possibility to ask your employees for their opinion and to visualize your data for your decisions. So the next one is Verona Funk, and Verona Funk works, oh, that's my script, with the Elo desktop client, the new Elo desktop client, the new Elo desktop client plus, because with the desktop client plus, she can receive tasks through workflow and she can finish it, but this we'll see later on. And when she opens her client and when she opens her My Elo section, then she sees this survey or this poll. And she thinks, well, phone calls, no, it's old school. Mailing, we don't receive anybody. Maybe we should make webinars. And I have another idea, we should make videos. And and she answers webinars and videos. So this was the first part for Verona Funk. She will be seen later on. The next employee, which can help to find the right answer, is Fritz Keil. He works in marketing, in the marketing department, and he works with the Elo Java client because he uses his client very often. And when he opens it, he sees his My Elo section on the start screen. And there he sees, well, yeah, Bodo Kraft has asked me a question, how you get in contact with the prospects. And he thinks it would be nice when we would make some webinars and we would make some videos. So the answers are stored in the poll, and Bodo Kraft gets an announcement when somebody answers this, and he can see it, how the answers increase or do not increase. So with this, based on this, he can make a decision, well, okay, 50% said, well, webinars would be cool, and 50% said, well, videos would be cool. Phone calls and mailings, maybe it's really old school. So let's make webinars and videos. So he made a decision and he called Fritz Keil and said, well, Fritz, yeah, let's make some webinars. And can you make some structure for it in Elo where the people can work with? And he says, well, yes, I have a structure for this because we had webinars in the past and we can use it for our webinars. So he moves to his archive into the marketing section, and the marketing section is very, well, yes, clean. And there's a folder for webinars and videos, and here you see there is already a webinar stored. And there is a structure in it where you can store your files and you can use the files later on or something. And when he wants to add a new webinar structure, he can move to organize, structure, and select insert default node index. And here you can select a new webinar structure. This he has prepared 3 weeks ago or something, or 2 years ago. And when he selects create the new webinar structure, then a new webinar structure is created with some subfolders where you can store your documents, a presentation template which you can use, a PowerPoint presentation template which you can use for the webinar and some other subfolders and a checklist for the webinars. Because maybe you've seen this webinar, you can use Elo Knowledge to write an article, what to or how to set up a webinar. And based on this, they made a checklist for webinars. So the checklist you can use for an overview. Well, first of all, you should select a topic. Then you should define a title, a nice title, not a extra long title. You should save the date, create a presentation. You should make a tech check. And maybe you record the webinar, then you should make the recording. And when you say, okay, well, I have selected a topic, then you can tick this. And everybody else sees that the topic is selected. So he created the structure, but he isn't responsible for this webinar. Responsible for this webinar should be Verona Funk. And for this, he makes a new task. He creates a new task and he starts a new workflow. And this workflow should be only a notification workflow, and he sends it to Verona Funk, that she sees that the structure is already created, and he sends it to Bodo Kraft that he sees it as well. Now it's very difficult today. That the structure is created. In the name he can change to new structure for your webinar with template in it. And then he selects OK, and the workflow starts. And Verona Funk and Bodo Kraft get a notification in the task section where they can see that the structure for the webinar is created. So let's go back to Verona Funk. She uses, as I said, the new Desktop Client Plus, where she can select or work with tasks and workflows, which you couldn't before, or which you can't when you don't have the Plus version of the desktop client. So she's much too fast because there's nothing in it. Now there's something in it. And here's the notification. And she sees that the structure for the webinar is created when she selects the full screen mode. And she makes a go-to. Then she gets into her structure. And there she sees, oh, well, yeah, checklist, some folders, a presentation template. That's really cool. And here you can start to work. So this is the second view, the normal view of the desktop client. So she has seen the notification, and for this, she says pass workflow forward, and confirms the notification, and the task is finished. And with this section, she can start to work now. Maybe she starts with the presentation template. She checks it out and starts with her presentation. Looks familiar. How shall we call the next one? How to analyze your data or something. And there she can work, and she can save it, and she can check it in. That's normal base function from Elo. Every time you work on a document and you check it out and check it in, then you get a new version. So she makes a new version, she creates a new version. But she also has a script for this. Well, maybe I should extend this with script or something. The script for the webinar, how to use analytics, is very easy. It only says, show them how analytics works. So this is a normal script for our webinars. And the desktop client is created for, or is optimized for working with Microsoft Office. So you can now store this document, as you see here. This one is in German, I know. It's a document which I haven't stored yet. And you can use the desktop client to store a document direct to Elo. So you don't have to store it on your computer and then drag and drop it into your Elo. You can store it direct to it. So for this, we select the desktop area. It's down here, or you can select the desktop area here as well. There's a tile for it. And the desktop area recognizes which application you use now. So when I switch to my PowerPoint presentation, the desktop client recognizes, well, this is now PowerPoint. This I won't save there because I don't know what happens then. So when I change to Word back again, the desktop client recognizes this is now Word, and you can save your Word document, which I haven't saved now until now, direct to your Elo. And for this, you select Save to Elo, and then you select Marketing, Webinars, and Videos. Well, maybe I should change the title sometime. And well, let's save it into Materials. And next step will be that I have to name the document. So it's the script for the webinar. Webinar, how to use analytics. And now I've stored the document into my Elo with the desktop client, which can work with Microsoft Office the direct way. So as we see, we can use our Elo for working with Microsoft Office. We can use it for making some decisions because we have Elo Analytics, and we have the possibility to use the collaboration tools for a poll where we get the answers. Here you see that Bodocraft has gotten 2 answers, which I don't understand what's here. Well, I think it means videos. We can use some templates, we can use template structures, we can use template checklists. So now we can tick one in the checklist because we have, no, we didn't have created the presentation. But we can use templates, you can use document templates as well. So when you say the script, it would be nice when we have a template for it, which you can generate by clicking on document from template. Then you can create a document from a template, which you can insert into this structure or something. And well, I think I said already that we can work with Microsoft Office as well. So those are the standard functions which you can use in Elo with or for the digitalization of your daily work. So what have we done? We have made better decisions because we have visualized data with Elo Analytics, and we can ask our employees with the built-in poll function. We can do easier teamwork because, as we saw, the decision for what can we do to get in contact with our prospects isn't made by one person, it's made by the team. And with the collaboration tools, you can make some comments as well, and you can work better together, and you can get notification when something changes and so on. So you get an overview as well. It improves productivity because, well, I don't know how a CEO got an overview 30 years ago. I think he had someone who made it for him, and this was a full-time job or something. Now you have the possibility to analyze the data on the fly. The data which are stored in Elo are real-time data, so you can see how my prospects increase or decrease or something, and it's an instant visualization. And with the checklists, workflows, and with the templates, you can save much time, because, well, it was 2 clicks and you had a full structure for a webinar. When you made it every time for new, then it would take much longer. You can prevent errors, because when you use existing data, when you use automated tasks, when you use templates and so on, then you can prevent errors, because you don't have to type in data anymore. You don't have to make every time the same thing, which is maybe boring, and then you make an error. So when you let the machine do the work, you can prevent errors. And as I said, it saves time. It saves much time with automated tasks where, let's say, some structure is generated automatically because another system, a third-party system, does something. Then you can create something in Elo which you maybe had to create by hand a few years ago. The workflows, you can use the workflows to speed up your internal processes, to speed up your incoming invoice process or something. So to save time, to have time for more important things than making something the 5th time or something. So that's how Elo helps you with your digitalization. You get dashboards for an overview with Elo Analytics or with the built-in dashboards which come with the Elo Business Solutions. Elo Analytics comes with Elo in standard, so the other dashboards come with the business solutions. You can use the included collaboration tools, the document feed for comments, or, well, let's say the built-in workflow is some kind of collaboration as well. This you can use, and you can see instantly what changed in the last 30-something days or so. So use the collaboration tools to work better together. You can use the built-in data analytics, Elo Analytics, visualize. That's a really, really hard word. Visualizes your existing data, which are stored in Elo. So you can make your own dashboards, like, as we saw before, how many prospects did we receive in the last 3 weeks? What is our target? How far are we away from our target, or something? Or you can use analytics to make a dashboard for your employees or something. Well, it depends on you which data are stored in your Elo and what you want to visualize. Elo comes with possibilities to make or to use existing data for your solution which you need. So, for example, you can use your data which are stored in your CRM or ERP system, and you don't have to type in a second time. So they are stored there, they will be stored there, and you can access them in your ELO, for example. The workflow is included, as I said. You can use the ad hoc workflow, as we saw now, or you can build your own templates. When you have some process which is which comes every day or something, you can build it an own template where you can execute some scripts as well. And the workflow tool is included in ELO. You can use it right away. And last but not least, it's expandable. So when you say, well, I have now ELO in standard and I use it very often, maybe it would be a good idea to, let's make knowledge management with ELO. You can expand ELO with the business solution ELO knowledge for your knowledge management, or with other business solutions like HR personnel file or recruiting or something, to get more functionality. And you increase the value of your ELO installation. So that's how digitalization helps you in your daily work. And it's now time to say thank you for your attention, and it's now time for your questions. When there are no questions, then, as I said, thank you for your attention. I haven't received a question. I have explained it very good.
So, do you have any questions? No? So perfect. Thank you, Edgar. Thank you for the interesting presentation. So our next web seminars are in July 28, how to use analytics, September 1st, how to use set up team room, and September 3rd, the topic work better together. You're welcome to register under the displayed homepage if you like to. Thanks again to all attendees. I wish you all the best. See you soon.